Welcome to another episode of Erik Wait Whiskey Studies, and in this video, gonna do a review of the Bruichladdich Classic Laddie. But before I get into this whiskey, I'm gonna tell you a little bit about the profile of Bruichladdich Distillery and this whiskey. Bruichladdich Distillery is located on the Rins of the Isle of Islay in Scotland. The name Bruichladdich is derived from a Scottish Gaelic term which means brae of the shore. A brae is a steep bank of a hillside. Bruichladdich Distillery was founded in 1881 by Robert, William, and John Gourlay Harvey. It was resurrected in 2001. Since 2012, Remy Contreau has been the owner of Bruichladdich Distillery. Bruichladdich water source is from the Bruichladdich Loch for the mash, from the Bruichladdich Burn for cooling, and Octomore Spring for bottling. 100% of Bruichladdich malt is Scottish barley, 50% of it comes from Islay, and 5% is organically grown. Bruichladdich Distillery has a 7-ton open cast iron rake and plow mash tun. They have 6 Oregon pine washbacks. Bruichladdich Distillery has 5 stills, 2 wash stills of 12,000 liters volume, 2 spirit stills, 11,000 liters volume, and 1 Loman still that is used to produce botanist gin, commonly known as Ugly Betty, and the gin is produced using 22 local botanicals and herbs. Bruichladdich core range of whiskey. The Bruichladdich unpeated range. Bruichladdich Classic Laddie Islay Single Malt Scotch Whisky, made from 100% Scottish barley, aged 6 years in American oak, finished in ex-wine casks such as Sauternes, Pauillac, Sherry, Madeira, and Rivesaltes. It is non-chill filtered, has natural color, is bottled at 50% alcohol by volume. The Bruichladdich Islay Barley Islay Single Malt Scotch Whisky. It's an unpeated single malt whiskey using 100% Islay grown barley, varietals such as Concerto, Oxbridge, Perpignan, and Publican. Sourced from 7 farms across Islay. It is non-chill filtered, has natural color, and is bottled at 50% alcohol by volume. Bruichladdich, the organic Islay Single Malt Scotch Whisky. It's made from barley from organically grown barley from Mid-Cool Farm, located close to Inverness in the north of Scotland. It's aged 11 years in first fill bourbon cask. It's non-chill filtered, has natural color, it's bottled at 50% alcohol by volume. Bruichladdich Beer Barley Islay Single Malt Scotch Whisky. It's made from 100% beer barley grown by the Agronomy Institute of Orkney College. It's aged 10 years in first fill bourbon cask. It's non-chill filtered, has natural color, it's bottled at 50% alcohol by volume. The Bruichladdich Black Art Islay Single Malt Scotch Whisky. Ages and casks can vary from bottling to bottling. The 10th edition is unpeated, aged 29 years in unrevealed type of cask. It's non-chill filtered, has natural color, and the 10th edition is bottled at 45.1% alcohol by volume. Bottles labeled Port Charlotte are heavily peated. The Port Charlotte 10-year-old Islay Single Malt Scotch Whisky is made from 100% Scottish barley from Inverness-shire region. It's peated at 40 ppm. Aged for 10 years in 65% first fill bourbon, 10% second fill bourbon, and 25% second fill French wine cask. It's non-chill filtered, has natural color, it's bottled at 50% alcohol by volume. All other Port Charlotte releases can vary from bottling to bottling. The Octomore Super Peated range. Octomore Islay Single Malt Scotch Whisky was first launched in 2008. They're matured for 5 years, always super heavily peated, and bottled close to cask strength. The Bruichladdich Classic Laddie Islay Single Malt Scotch Whisky. It's made from 100% Scottish barley, aged for 6 years in American casks, finished in ex-wine casks such as Sauternes, Pauillac, Sherry, Madeira, and Rivesaltes, bottled at 50% alcohol by volume. And it sells for about $57 in my neighborhood. So Islay is more well known for their heavily peated whiskeys, and as you see there, this is not Bruichladdich having 3 different categories within their core range. the Bruichladdich, which is unpeated, of course, and the Port Charlotte, which is heavily peated, and the Octomore, which is super heavily peated. I think it's absolutely brilliant to have a portfolio like that. In the wine business, particularly say here in California, you like to have a little bit something on your menu to suit all tastes. So you might have a Chardonnay for those who prefer white wines, a Pinot Noir, sort of a medium tannin or low tannin red wine, and then a nice big Cabernet Sauvignon, and perhaps something that's super fruity like a Zinfandel. Well, in a similar fashion, Bruichladdich has its profile, and then they have something that provides a wide range of flavors. The southern distilleries are all peated, and peated. Bunnahabhain likewise has some unpeated and peated. Kilchoman is peated, and I love peated whiskeys. When I think of Islay, that's what I think of. But it's nice to have something else in there to play with as well. This whiskey is sort of a summertime whiskey. It's light, it's fresh, it's crisp on the nose, heavy on lemon. Lemon custard, lemon bars. Have you ever had lemon bars and have like a powdered sugar on it? Something like that. Heavy maltiness. Just a fair hint, just a fair hint of saltiness and a lot of floral notes on the palate. It's crisp, it's clean, sweet on the front, dries a little bit on the back end, intense maltiness, lemon, a little bit of dried pineapple, a hint of orange, nice vanilla in the mid palate, distinctive maltiness on the back end, a slight pithy character to it, almost like the pith of citrus. And that's a nice long finish. This whiskey does well on ice, so it's a nice summertime whiskey. I tend to prefer peated whiskeys in the cooler region, or here in Half Moon Bay. It stays cool even through the summer. But if you're looking for a summer wine, something you can put on ice and as a refreshing drink, I highly recommend this. Curious how this is would do up against, say, like an Arran 10-year-old. An Arran 10-year-old. I think it might do really well. So perhaps in another video, I'll do a head-to-head between the Bruichladdich Classic Laddie and the Arran 10-year-old. What would I give it in terms of a score? I'm going to go a solid 90 points. Solid 90 points. I think it has enough complexity, enough layers there to get me to that 90. But it would need something perhaps a little bit more in the mid palate to get me above that. It does have a moderate creaminess on the mouthfeel, so the texture-wise, I would say texture-wise, mouthfeel, it's more of a crisp sensation, so like a crisp white wine with just a slight creaminess. The finish is medium to medium plus. Really nice. All right, that's it for this video. You subscribe to this channel. I want to thank you very much. If you have not yet subscribed, but you like watching my videos, I would greatly appreciate it if you would subscribe, ring the bell to be notified for when I go live or post a new video. And until next time, Slàinte. Hey, don't forget to subscribe and check out these other whiskey videos.